Who is the beast of Revelation?
The book of Revelation is a book of symbols. So it's not supposed to be taken literally. So that's why we don't expect a giant beast, Godzilla, rising out of the sea. So let's review some keys to interpreting symbols, especially those symbols that we find in the book of Revelation. For example, sea equals peoples. For example, there's Isaiah 17:12, or Revelation 17:15, which says the waters are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. So let's actually turn to the book of Daniel, the symbolic book of the Old Testament, which is actually separated 600 years away from Revelation. In Daniel chapter 7, Daniel sees a vision of 4 beasts, the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the interpretation is given in verse 17, which says the 4 beasts are 4 kingdoms that will rise from the earth. So basically, beast equal kingdoms. Daniel chapter 2 tells us about these kingdoms in the vision of a large statue. The first kingdom, made of gold, is Babylon, also the lion of Daniel chapter 7. The second kingdom, made of silver, is Persia, also is the bear of Daniel chapter 7. The third kingdom of bronze is Greece, also the leopard of Daniel chapter 7. And if you notice the leopard of Daniel 7, it had 4 heads. And what we know from history, hundreds of years after Daniel, after Alexander the Great died, his 4 sons fought for the crown, essentially dividing the Greek Empire into 4. Now the fourth kingdom of iron legs is the Roman Empire. This we also know from history, not the Bible. And like the 2 legs of iron, so the Roman Empire was divided east and west. And the fifth kingdom of Daniel 2 is said to be partly of baked clay and partly of iron. So this will be a divided kingdom, verse 41. And verse 43 says, the people will be a mixture and will not remain united any more than iron mixes with clay. This last kingdom that we see, that's the beast of Revelation. Let me give you another insight. If you were to combine all the beasts of Daniel chapter 7, the lion, the bear, the leopard, with 4 heads, and the 4th beast, you would end up with the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Exactly what you find in Revelation chapter 13, the beast of Revelation. And verse 2 says, the beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. Sound familiar? Daniel chapter 7, written 600 years before this. And this beast has 10 horns. Both Daniel 7:24 and Revelation 17:12 says that the 10 horns represent 10 kings. What this means is that the beast of Revelation will have the characteristics of all the beasts of Daniel chapter 7. It will be like Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, mixed together like clay and iron. You know what else? If you look at the map of the Roman Empire, where it used to be, there exists a kingdom in this area, well, a mixture of kingdoms. Can you guess what that is? In 1993, the European community banded together to create the European Union, and they later made the euro in 1999. The euro, remember that? I remember when the euro first came out, everybody thought it was a joke. But today, the euro has surpassed the dollar. Now this has nothing to do with the power of the euro, but we see the beginning of a new beast, the beast of Revelation. And as verse 4 says, people will say, who is like the beast? Who can make war against him? Revelation 13:4. Can you imagine a war against the European Union? You're dead. Now that doesn't mean that the EU is evil. What's written in the rest of the book of Revelation still pertains to the future. But now you can keep your eyes open to what happens there. And also on a side note, I believe that the second beast found in Revelation 13:11 is the United States. It's described as having 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. If that's not the US, I don't know what is. People say the US is like a Christian nation, but it's anything but. And keep your eyes open to when it becomes a puppet of Europe, at least economically.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.